Hello, Commanders, and welcome to the finale of my series that will show you how to build and trap an AFK Stonewood Endurance here in Fortnite Save the World. And for our final episode, I will finish with our Flex Amplifier and show you how to prepare for the East attack. And this build will extend off of our dip amplifier video that was also facing East attacks. So if you have not already seen that one or any of the episodes that are part of this series, I do have them all included in a playlist here on my YouTube page, and I have that link in the description below for you. Please check it out. And in fact, I would tell you to start at episode 1 and work around throughout the series. Anyway, let's go ahead and pick up where we left off. And I'm actually going to make some adjustments to our previous build that I covered. So we're going to go ahead and break down the walls that extend out here, and I will show you. So pretty much off of this sound wall section, we want to break that down for a moment. And then what I'm going to do here is take down this first layer of block off that we discussed. I've been doing a lot of testing when it comes to this amplifier, and I just don't think you need the additional layer here. Let's go ahead and remove it. All right, we'll keep this wall here. So basically you have your one layer of protection. What's going to happen is you're going to have a hotspot out here, and it's going to remove some of the builds, and I don't want that to occur. All right, so instead we're going to make, as I mentioned, some adjustments here. Okay. And this too will be removed. And then what you'll want to do from this point is come down under here, and I'd also want you to lift this here all the way up so you just have this ceiling. And everything else that I went over would remain the same. Okay. And I am going to go ahead and take these down and replace, because I want to make sure our pattern is right when it comes to our sound wall traps. Okay, and I know what the pattern is from this point. So darts should be shooting through, still have our block off up in this area, and working with one single layer here. Still want that trap on the back side. And then we're going to open up the entire section of walls right here. So again, make sure you have watched and built the dip amplifier in preparation for the East attack build. All right, very important there on this. Okay. Then working back through the walls here. I don't want you to do any window edit here, just on this. Then we will take our heels attached wall spike right here and start extending it behind all of these walls. So it'd be 4 total. And then up we go here to these 2 tiles. And I'm going to go ahead now, open this up with a window. And on our side to side, 2 reload wall darts that I've used through the entire series. And all traps that are included today and through the series were the same rolls. Remember, if you do not build the build in the exact same way that I have it, and or if you are not using the traps with the rolls and combinations that I'm discussing, the build can work differently for you. Also want to point out that you should, if you are AFK, be standing in your AFK spot up above on your material grinder. So we absolutely and without question want to be ensuring that we do that. Okay. And then what we're going to have is, because I've been talking about it a lot, I'm going to go ahead and just take the remainder of these initial builds down that I discussed off of the block off now. There weren't many, but I want you to start fresh over here. This was basically just a safety net from this point. And then, of course, we're going to tier 3 all of the metal that we've used here. And then I want to edit this here. Put this here. And we'll edit here. And then on the back side of these two walls right here, I want a heels attached wall spike. So it's this roll here with the heels attached. And then through the opening here, we're going to take this wall down now. And I'm going to go ahead and shoot a 1 reload dart through the opening. And then outside here, these would all be the 1 reload dart. And we'll keep all the metal down this way that we had before. So all this gets opened and or worked, I guess I should say. Now behind this block off here, as we go up, and we had called this our base placement before, all right, which we will now want to change because we're too close to the exterior. I want you to go again with that heels attached spike here and here. And then we will seal this down with metal. And then we will talk about a new base placement for the build. And typically what you are looking for is either a natural terrain location or somewhere where we do not have, a concern of where the enemies can get to it easily. Because if they're too close to your base, whether it be in a trap tunnel or whatever, they'll aggro on it and they try to target. Especially if you are running heavy base in your loadout. For some reason with that base, whether you have it as main or support, they just seem to aggro a little bit more. All right, so that has us all taken care of. And I'm just going to show you visually what we're looking at. So 2 layers off the build still, down to our 4 block offs, and then the adjustments we made. And then we're going to open it up from this point here. And there's another extension that we can do here and here, like this. And you'd have a ceiling here. All right. And this here would have a opening in it as well. And then you have 1, 2 to the 3 here. But I don't want anything on the floor. And as I previously mentioned in our other episode, with this build in general, these walls here, these 2 here, this, these here, and even this, when you have your hotspot, could go. But we're still going to keep all of this in place. I do like it. And then tier 3 everything across the build. And you got 1, 2, and 3 to here. Just want to point it out. So front to back dart will be included now. Right this way. And then through here. Darts still play here. We're good. Ceiling. Leveled. And then right in here, as they're working through, we're going to talk about your sound wall traps. And we're going to get those to play for you. We're going to actually still utilize this as well. Now I have 2 sound walls. I call it my medium and my slow. The medium has 1 of the reloads being epic. The slow has 2 of the reloads being epic. And I do want you to utilize both of these and alternate them. Now I can tell you with the 1 or the medium, We had it here, skip the tile, here, skip the tile, then it goes here. And then you're going to start skipping every other tile that you see. Excuse me on this one. I apologize. Just like I am doing right here. All right. That should all be in place now. And then we're going to come in with the additional, or the 2 epic reload, 1, and just alternate around here as I'm doing. And the reasoning you want to do this is because if they both fire at the same time, you will only receive the effects of 1. But if you have consistent pathing, which you will here, there'll be a lot of husk coming through here now. After that first strike, they'll be on different reloads. It gives it a better opportunity to work. But if you're ever facing, especially in a 1-by-1, remember, you only get the effects from 1, and you need, if you're going to utilize them for some reason. And it is a niche situation, or rare, right? But it will happen. Like right here. Like these 2 can fire. If you had one here, believe it or not, all 3 could fire. Then you would have your fast one kind of mixed in, which I do have. That would be all legendary, but on occasion, that all legendary one, you don't receive the effects from it because it's still working from a previous strike. It's just a weird thing, but something to think about with your sound walls. But I like everything that we have here now. And then as we go back down, right here, up the hill, I want these 2 tiles, backside, and I want a 1 reload dart shooting up and through. You'll get some real nice action here from the spawn. And then everything else would still remain the same. And I keep looking at this here, and as I mentioned, this truly is extra. I have to point that out. All right. And there's a good chance, again, it will get worked, but just keep it for now. Then what we're going to do, first and foremost, come back into here because I broke down. I just want to make sure we have everything right. Yeah, we do. Okay, good. Any of those particular areas we want to make sure we're golden in. Same thing up here, just make sure, which you have nothing to worry about. Now, under here and under here, all right, I would go ahead with tires again. And you can just use your primary over your back shoulder if you can't remember the count from the previous episode. It's a little awkward right here as they drop, but it does play nicely. And I want the ceiling drop traps around our sound walls. Very important. We're going to go a couple layers, believe it or not, in the end. Then we're going to come up through here. Seal down. It's here. And just extend. Like this. And again, make sure with the tiles, we're going the directions right. If we're facing west to east here, that's for the dip amp. And if you're facing south to north, that's for the field flex. And then we'll just make sure this is all at tier 3. Now, I spoke about this throughout that I would recommend tier 3 metal when it comes to your endurance build in Stonewood across the board. However, I know for certain that most people are not going to have that, especially early on in your journey. And I've mentioned to you, you could still build with tier 3 stone or tier 3 wood. So we are going to go with stone now, just to give you an example of what I've been speaking about. Now, because I have the metal here and I have stone here, theoretically, they'll be more interested over here because you have the stronger material. But nonetheless, we're going to go with it. Right, so I want you to build this off, and we're going to move now. And then you will wrap. Again, we'll keep the metal up. Actually, no, we'll start with stone then here. We'll just keep it all together. So just keep all of the pieces of the build that you're running this way. All right. And then out here, you'll have this, 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 and your 1/3 like this. Show you from this angle. There was a time where I would build and throw down darts and stuff in the field, but again, with the hotspots, I just in the spawns, it just doesn't hold. Okay, and then we're going to wrap the stone around like this, and then off of the new blockhouse that we're going to do. Okay. Now, any of the terrain items that are in the way here of the build, I will go ahead and remove those, as I would say it is important to do so. And my goal here, and honestly your goal should be, by the time you get your mat grinder done, I would use up every single building piece that you have, if possible, to make your build stronger. There's no reason to try to cut corners and or try to save costs. Bad things happen when that occurs. I promise you on that. So I would just not even think that way. If you've got them, use them. I've always been that way with it. All right, you have this terrain right here. We're going to wrap around just like this. Make sure it's tiered, and I want an edited pyramid. And I'm going to tell you, I'd probably go like at an angle to the northeast here. That's the way they're going to try and attack. And then we'll seal across, and I'll open this up so we can get the upgrades going. So you're just going to walk this over. All right, blockhouse will face to the northeast here. 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 But this one will go to the east as they wrap. Now, you can, if you would like, edit them and wrap them around like this in a formation. Meaning you can go ahead like this and wrap it that way if you like. Both will be fine and both work. It really comes down to your playstyle choice, my friends. Please use yours. All right, here. But I'm going to go with this. I like it better. All right, and then we're just going to go ahead and get some block ups going here. And then inside we'll go with the 1/3 so you guys can see it a little bit better. And we can tier 3 it a little bit better. And then, of course, you want your ceilings always on your block offs to make them full. In case you get a phasing husk in here, and bad things can then happen. You don't want that. So we will come back up now into the block off. On the back of this wall where the hill is, I want a heels attached wall spike. Right there. And that will go. And I want to note how the entire build here is all in the same resource. And once again, tier 3. Reminder too, if you go in now and you start upgrading everything like this situation, let's just say this is all tier 3, and you forget about this floor piece, they can actually become more interested and try to aggro there. So please take your time. And I have, tested that recently. I watch them. It's kind of interesting how they'll do that to you. All right, so that's all sealed. This is all tier 3 down into here. This will be a window. We'll talk about it in a moment. And then what I like to do is we will wrap this down through your block off here into here. So it kind of wraps around. All right. Base placement is actually going to go down here. And I will speak about that in just a moment. It'll go right up here. But just fill this in now like I am doing. You will have a block off here that faces to the northeast. And we'll leave the 1/3 wall so you can see it. This here would be a floor piece as you work into your build. And then we'll just go ahead and gain access here for a moment. All right. So then on the walls here, with this one, we're going to leave an opening. This one will not have an opening, nor will this. Okay, no openings here. And then we already spoke about what that is up the terrain. And then I want you to line those heels attached spikes down and around these walls. And then I want a front to back, one reload dart right here. And then we just match the floor of how you have it. And honestly, if you stand at your AFK spot where I have shown in the build, you absolutely won't have any issues over here. At this point, anyway, we've got some more to do yet, but for now. So this all works in, just like we are showing you, so that we can go ahead and do our thing here. And then tier 3. Okay. Then I just want you to take your stone on the ceiling and fill in your openings. For right now, we'll leave it just like this. And note how it all connects. All right. Now you do have this little area right here in the corner. This is an extra if you want it. All right. You can take this out here, right? This out here. You can instead throw a ceiling, open this up on both sides. Then you will come back in and just go ahead and seal it down. All right. And then when it comes to back here, if you want to, you could also go this way with it and then take these 2 tiles out, which would be fine as well. All right, and then you don't need this back one here. So theoretically, it's a bit cheaper for you. But I do want to show this because there are many different ways, again, that you can play the game. But I like this little extension, but I'm not going to... I want you, if you don't want this, then keep what we had before. But if you want a little extra heat here, or juice, come on in. All right, side-to-side dart here at the 2 reload. Nothing in here. All right, we're just fine. And I would still keep the ceiling in here in case you get a phasing husk. The ceiling would protect. It just kind of really ties it all in for you. Now, then we want our sound walls in the front. We'll do them now. 1 epic reload, and then you got your 2 on the sides. Or you can flip the script. And again, you have your darts shooting through both of the openings, as you can see here. To include 1, 2, and 3 here, if anything stands over here. All right. And then, of course, you have the shot over here. So you're protected across the front from both avenues. And I actually really do like this. This is what I would go with, but I wanted to show you the other one just in case. All right. And then we're going to work down into the trap tunnel here. And make sure everything is tier 3 with the exception of this piece right here. I want it tier 2. I would block this section off, by the way. You would have a 2 reload side-to-side dart here. We would up this. You'd have a heels attached spike on the back side of it. Right here. And then that stays at that tier, as I mentioned to you. And then we come out and we match to here. I don't recommend that you send them down here and around. It just adds a lot extra to the build. We're going to take them straight down this way. So we'll extend here. Straight down. Same thing on the wall. Lift this. You have your dart shooting 1, 2 into the 3 here. All right, side walls down. This opens, wall here. This opens, wall here. And then you got your floor right here. Don't connect to your trap tunnel. And then everything would be tier 3 in this area. All right, let's go ahead and grab some more material from our storage. And then if you don't have metal or stone, you can feel free to use wood as well, especially with this build here. It's battle tested through and through. You will not have issues here. Let me go ahead and make sure this is tier 3 for a moment up top. There we go. All right, down we go again, and we will finish. And you have a ceiling here as well. But don't put your base on that. Okay, very important. On this wall here. Okay, it should be over here. This would be a 2 reload dart shooting straight front to back, by the way, through the windowed wall. That gets upgraded. This comes home, and boom. Another opportunity that we have here, I'm just going to open this up from this side. All right. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and open to this side for a second. Just want to show you something, okay? Now, another thing that you can do here. Right, there are different options you can do, believe it or not. It really does come down to your play style and choice and or choosing, okay? If you want to add electric field here, remove that and throw a dart so when a smasher comes through, it would hit the smasher. You could do that. But if you want the dart shooting the opposite way, you can do that too. So basically what you could do is come here. You would go ahead and shoot those 2 reload darts side to side, keeping in mind that they are only and strictly for smashers. Then you would come here. This is a protected wall. They don't mess with it though. But see how they would shoot when it kind of shoots around. You could go ahead and do something like this. And if there's any reason at all whatsoever that you are not comfortable, just throw in your 2 pieces and finish the block off. But you don't have to. I'm just giving you, different options. Again, as mentioned. By having the extra, it kind of protects you a little bit. And believe it or not, this one here, you could even wrap like that a little bit if you were that concerned. But again, playstyle. Right, everything's at tier 3. Darts are shooting through. We go here. If for some reason you had to lift that for a moment, just come back in. I would on this wall here still keep that heels attached spike on the back of that wall if you had to lift it for a reason. All right. That takes care of those areas. You would start with your wooden floor spike. You'd have your gas trap. Nothing more than one reload. Rare effect duration is fine with that trap. Come down here. You have your stagger wall dynamo. And then 2 primaries. Here and here. Or no reload. And then 1 reload on both sides. You don't want 2 reload on that either. This comes down here. I'd go wooden floor spike again. I do have 1 tar pit right here. I do like it. It's a little early for me in my trap tunnel, but in case you get something to charge, it makes sense to me here. Then you have your primary electric field. Right there with the 1 reload. Working down into the next section. Then you're going to have your primary and your stagger broadsides. And then you'll know, if you keep the same number, you always kind of know if it put the right one down. Just like this. Backside here would be that 1 reload dart. Went on down. You already have a dart shooting through there. 2 reload side to side dart here. Right above here, I actually like to mix in a little gas, believe it or not. And even if this burns, you will still have a slowing effect from the wooden floor spike. Right. You usually want tar, freeze, or the effects, or this underneath your gas. And then right here, you would have another primary electric field. All right. Then we're going to go with your main wall dynamo. Skip a tile. Main here. And then we will go in with the stagger. Here and here. We just do the rotation a little bit different. Then we come down this way. And then I will change the pattern on this wall. Doesn't really matter though when it's all said and done. But do run the dynamos all the way down through here. And then you have your primaries on the sides. And then down here at the end, I'd have 1 primary and then 1 stagger. So they're on different reloads. And then right down in this area would be another wooden floor spike for a full tile snare plus 1, 2, and a half in. And then we bait them. And I do have the amplifier covered in another episode. All the amplifiers actually in 1 episode for you. If you want to know that build. Okay. And then out here, I want 1 wall shooting a dart. And that'd be your 1 reload. Just like this here. You can actually, as they come out here, have a ceiling drop trap in here as well to push them back in. Just go with your primary one. And then you watch Torn Apart. On rare occasion, Torn Apart will take that little section sometimes, but remember, it doesn't take your traps, but it can take your build. So it's something to think about here. And then because we changed these walls here now, it's going to run down here for a second. These 2 especially. Heels attached, spike on the back of these 2 walls. And I'm going to open it up and show you where that's at. All right. That's these 2 next to your other build. Right back here on the walls for me. And then you seal that down. A lot of damage coming through here. Absolutely devastating for him. Believe it or not, you could go 1, 2 into the 3 here. And instead of that dart there, you could do a wall launcher to push them back in if you wanted to. If for some reason, but by that time you're looking at a boss or a smasher probably anyway, so I wouldn't sacrifice the dart. I'd keep darts. And then on the sides over here, we want those 2 reload darts cutting across the 1 reloads. All right. So that covers all of this up into here. And then we have our wall sections on the sides. We will go with the 2 reload. On your sides. And then the 1 reload will be here for now. Then what we're going to do, let's come over to this section right here. I want a wall, a ceiling, and I actually want you on this section to put a heels attached wooden floor spike here. Actually, let's do it in steps. I want an increased build health on the front of this wall. And on the back, I want a heels attached building. In my builds, I always put increased build health on the front of the wall, heels attached on the back. So if I'm ever missing one in anything that I'm doing in the game, I know quickly how to fix it and what goes where. You can use 2 different 6 perks on a wall, 1 on each side, but you can't use the same. And then like I mentioned here, I do want right here, heels attached spike right here. In this little section. All right. And then we're going to go in here with a block off. And then the side to side dart would go here, and then the front to back one goes here. Add it up. And make sure this is all sealed in. They tend to like this area a little bit on a rare occasion, so we're going to make sure we take care of it for you. You can also do heels attached spikes on the insides here as well if you wish. So let me show you what I mean. You'd come here, drop here one more time, heels attached, wall spike, here, and here. You really want to protect this section here. Then out this way. We're going to build out. Just like this here. I want ceilings. And then 1/3 walls here. We're going to build inside for a moment. On the back of these 3 walls, heels attached building spikes. Oh, remember, those do not play there. Sorry. All right, and then side, shooting to the side here, we're going to want the 2 reloads on your darts. Right, now the floors can go. You do not need those floors. I know it seems weird, but you really don't need them. It's part of how the game works for us. And on the outside of these walls, primary dynamo, skip a tile, primary, skip a tile, primary. And then out here, you'd go with your stagger. Or your no reload. Edit this up here. Alternate electric fields. Primary 1 reload here and here. Stagger 2, no reload. Right there. all wraps up. And then off this build here, right above us, 1 and 2, down to here. And I actually do wrap this and this here. Just like that to seal, so there are no openings where they can stand and potentially lob at you. Now, you do have an option here if you wish, and you have the room. You could finish this off here. I wouldn't go back this far, but you can finish it here if you have the tiles like I just did. So everything is in place. And then we upgrade. So basically, you're just extending all the way down from your previous build, and you add 2 extra tiles on the ends. And then, of course, everything is at tier 3. At this point, I would tell you to hold off on the ceilings now. Wait to trap this. Because you're getting to a point now where you might be getting close to tiles. And remember, your base counts as a tile in your storm show when you place it. So if you have a plan to have 3 teammates in with you for the build and for the run, you need 4 pieces, 1 for your base and 3 for theirs. And if you don't have that, then you're going over the limit, which I would consider that's not an authentic build if you're trying to play it straight. All right. If that's important. So to some people it is. To me it is. I like to have authentic builds. So, but again, to each is their own. That's for sure. All right, now, in that area that we had, and we're just going to open it up right here on that natural ramp that we had here. We need to make sure they don't try to come around here now. We're going to do some block off sections here. And there's different ways you can do it now. Okay. You can edit like I'm doing here and build around to this point here. And then you just wrap it around basically. Definitely do take this area here into consideration and don't overlook this, because they will try to get kind of funny over there on you, especially if you have the building pieces to do so. And as a reminder, you're here. Okay. You can all, either way you go with it, it is what it is. And then what you're going to do is you're going to wrap some block off here all the way around. And then under this piece here, you're going to add with a Dorito build. This is old school, like Dorito build, facing to the northeast, just like that here. And until we get it upgraded, we'll just keep working here. I'll come back to it. All right. So get that piece back into place. All right. And not like this now, remember. All right. I want you to face it like that. And that's going to give you some stability under your structure there, if you need it. And then right up above here, you have a pyramid. Okay. I'm going to seal this down for a moment. Want a heels attached spike on it, a pyramid on it. And then what you will do is you will finish your block offs all the way around. Now we've seen our 100 structure mark for the very first time. And I want you here by the time you get to this build. Remember, don't leave anything on the board. Keep adding and making it better wherever you can. You don't need any heels attached spikes or anything up here this time. Don't even worry about those. Just get everything up to your tier 3. All right. And then what you do basically is just wrap your builds around like I'm doing here. And then, of course, you get your corner sections up as you are wrapping. They're battling me a little bit here. Okay. This goes here. This way. Middle tile here. Facing in this way. And then, of course, you're just sealing everything around and editing it back to full. Once again, making sure everything is at tier 3. Don't miss anything here where it's weak. And then to finalize it all, now you can see what it looks like. Okay. Just put ceilings on it. Just like this here. Remember, you have extra tiles out here if you want, because you're going to have the spawn here and they're going to work their way this way. So, you know, you could get away with some time if you don't want to trap out there. But we're not done yet. All right, you got all that. We're good. Now, you do have an area over here. And the enemies will try to walk back in through here. Okay. I want you to put some builds here. Just like this. In case they were to walk around here and try to get after you a little bit. Front to back, 1 reload dart here. And then the 2 reloads on the sides. And again, this is right back directly down and around here. If you have a couple of heels attached spikes at the end, I'd put them here, but I'm not sure we're going to. All right, now what can happen is if they phase or get through here or here, right, they're going to walk either down and through here or down and around through and around here. So right here on this terrain, 1, 2, and 3. Just like you're seeing. Go ahead and take this off here. Have an opening. 1, 2, and 3. And you got your 1 here if you want it. Just throwing it in. These can be darts here for you. And I would place them. Let me count 1, 2, and 3. It's not going to hit here. I haven't ever had them really come over this way ever. Like, it's very rare that they even do this, but I would at least pay attention to it. And if you don't want to go all 3, you can come in a little closer too and just do a few extra. But I would not overlook those darts. I'm going to actually give you a couple different options here that you can choose from. Both will work fantastic. It really doesn't matter. It's an area I always come back into, and I like to mess around with it a little. This would be if you happen to have some teammates, though, that aren't where they're supposed to be, or maybe you're looting during the active wave, which is fine. There's no problem with that at all whatsoever. Yeah, I have never had any issue. And if they try to come over here, the darts will catch them. I like this here instead. I'm not going to even show you another way. And it's the same kind of thing now. Your 2 reloads across and your 1 reloads in the front. Just like this here. Please don't overlook that or this that we showed you here. And what you want is for this never to get used. But you have it there in case you do need to use it. And that's what's important. So now we have this area here at the end. Now I would start along all these walls here, and we're going to run our ceiling drop traps. Okay. So we'll just restart the pattern. Over our back shoulder, skipping every other tile, just forcing it straight back over the shoulder. And then if I'm coming to the entrance, I try to go away from it. Skip, straight back. Boom. This one obviously will go straight back. Skip here. And then again, from this wall here, just keep them off the walls. Sorry, we needed a different one there. Right in this section. All right. Picking that one up again. Same in here. Pull them away. You have the electric fields on this side. You'll have them on the other side as well. Then you would come in here with the other reload, the 2 reload. Again, over the back shoulder. Just force them out and into the middle here or straight back as you're working around. Protects everything that you have going here. And then from this point, and based off how you've already been running it, all right, you can go ahead here now. And with your main electric field, we'll start staggering. Or alternating. Just like this here. And then our final here. Actually, this is supposed to be a couple 2 reloads here too. We didn't get to those yet. But over your shoulder, right? You want to push them away from this area if we can. Then you go back in with your no reload one, alternate stagger again, and we come in and work through here. You would not believe the difference that it makes when you understand reload speed and you can work it right, and how that synergy it's something else. And it will make a difference. I urge you to give it a shot. All right. And then that would fill everything in across the board. So if you have extra pieces, and this is extra bonus at the end. I mentioned this area here that I would add. That's extra. Now I used to add stuff back here behind the spawn too. Right here. And they will shoot in to the spawn there. But I've seen at times it gets broken. So I don't recommend it anymore. But definitely that right there, leave it. Don't go over to the 3rd either, because sometimes it can break. If you notice this one breaking, then you extend one over here. You just got to come and test it and see how the spawns are working. So we are all good there. I have had someone mention concern about this one area here on the home base amplifier. I have never had an issue with it at all whatsoever. Truly, I have not. But if for some reason you were to have an issue with just the one tile here, even if this falls, it still works, but you could throw an anchor here. I'm not going to do it because I believe in it that much. I think war games on occasion might if you have the explosions. All right. But anyway, I have another area here. I just wanted to point that out because I've had someone in the series have a comment, and I wanted to put you at ease with it. Now, you do have the area that I had you break down here if you wanted to add more to it. I don't think you do here, though. But one area I do like for a bonus now would be right out here. And this is an opportunity to go ahead and place 1, 2, 3 structures just like this and connect it here. Of course, again, let's upgrade to tier 3. And then underneath here, alternating your electric fields. Primary. And then your secondary. So right in there. Then we do have this area here, and I keep coming back to it, but for a reason. I would go ahead and put a structure here, here, and here. The wall right here. A wall right here. And actually one out here. And again, this is only if you have extra, which you should if you have fallen along, you know, step by step in the series. And watched all the episodes and made the adjustments. Again, go in order when you are building. Because I will come in and maybe put something down or not put this in, and we'll come back through it if we have extra pieces. And then you can always count 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? And it'll kind of show you how many structures you have left. Again, it's very important that I show you an authentic build here. Then what you want is your darts, your side to sides here. Front to back here. And here. And you'd actually put one here. Front to back. And you have these 2 structures down here. I want two reloads here. And a 1 reload right here. Then I would come out, count my tiles. 1, 2, 3, 4, to the 5. And you will walk away with 4 on the base placement, right? 4 pieces. Remember the base. Every base you place will count as a structure. And then we'll have 1 extra in the end if I had a full team. But I would come back here and add this just in case. Again, phasing is real here, and you do have a spawn here, and it could mess. And I don't want you really to sacrifice the structure underneath. I like the build. And then in the end, this would be our final build when it comes to our how to build and trap on AFK Stonewood Endurance, preparing you for the attacks from the east direction.